Well, hey guys, welcome to our first video training or update. I'm going to try really hard not to do anything weird with my hands. Um, my hair, I can't help. So you just have to love me through it. But Happy New Year for those of you I haven't seen yet. And I wanted to send you guys a follow-up update, give you some things as we move forward into 2019 in the spring semester, and give you some dates. The first thing I just really want to remind you before I get started on anything else, today is Friday, January 4th. Tomorrow is Saturday, January 5th. And tomorrow is when we're having our all leader meeting led by Pastor Phil. Starts at 9:30 in the church. And we are just highly encouraging all of our leaders to be there. Phil's going to be talking about the way our leadership is structured and his dreams for the future. And it's going to be one of those times where you'll start hearing information coming out, and he wants to tell the leaders first. So that is why we would love for you to be there. It's a morning to honor you guys as leaders and get you information first. And also give you an opportunity to give us feedback. So that's tomorrow. We do have childcare. I actually just recently got a couple more rooms open. So we'll have 4 rooms total open, and potentially some middle schoolers to hang out with older kids as well. So we should have kids totally covered tomorrow. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on what I feel like the Lord is calling me and my family into this spring, and invite you to consider if that would be something that God would be calling you to as well. As we came to the end of 2018, I just really felt I felt worn. And the Lord told me that, reminded me that he built in a day of rest for a reason and a purpose, and that I and my family have not been valuing that. So Chris and I have decided to start taking a Sabbath on Sundays. And since we both work at the church, for us personally, it will start after church. And we're still kind of discovering and praying about what exactly that means and what it looks like. But I do know that the Lord has called us to do it from the beginning of time, but reminded me specifically at the end of 2018 that it's something that I need to value. And in the past, I often let perfection be the enemy of starting a project. So a lot of times people talk about a Sabbath being a 24-hour period, and I'm sure that would be the best case scenario, but I feel like the Lord has said, don't take no Sabbath, because you can't take a 24-hour Sabbath. And I believe that he will teach us how to get there throughout this process. And in the meantime, we'll start with what we have. So I would just encourage you to look at your weekly rhythm and see if you truly have Sabbath rest built into it. If you do, more power to you. That's amazing. Please send me how you do it. So that kind of leads us into this spring. As you guys know, we are not launching missional communities until, looking for my calendar here, until February. We will launch them at the very beginning of February. So we will pray over you guys on Sunday, February 3rd. And I'll get you the exact details on if that'll be at all 3 services or just the 10. But that is when we will be kind of praying for you guys again and sending you out into this season, this spring. if you have space in your missional communities, I would love to get an update. Actually, I would love for you guys to let me know whether you have space or you're full, either way, because we are starting to have people already asking, like, okay, I came in the last 6 months. How do I join an MC now that they're relaunching in the spring? We do have a number of new missional communities starting, so that's really exciting. A lot of people will be funneled into those directly, but if you have space in yours, please let me know. And then the house parties, I emailed you guys with 2 dates for the house parties, but I don't think that I communicated a really clear vision of what I want those to be. So in our staff meeting recently, one of the things we really dreamed about was having house parties, for lack of a better term, where it became part of our culture that anyone would have kind of be part of their rhythm to have dinner every now and again and invite people from the church over. We are a rapidly growing church, and it makes it hard for people who come to our church and they hear about our church feeling like family, but then it's easy to be unseen when there's so many new people. And there are people who have been coming to our church on and off for months, and they have still not made a connection. As you guys know, as leaders of missional communities, we can't really just funnel people into missional communities all the time, because that really hurts the intimacy of our groups. So what do? Basically, as leaders, one thing that we always need to do is have eyes for people on Sunday mornings and be introducing ourselves and asking people if they need prayer or just about their lives, getting to know them, doing lunch after church when and if possible. But I really loved this idea of inviting people into our homes, people that are not in our missional communities, people that are in church. We even have people in our church, that aren't ready to start missional communities yet. And so what can we do? So we all kind of really loved this idea of house parties. Over across the summer, the women's ministry did an event called Come to the Table. So the concept is very similar. So this is not a missional community event. This is not an event where all of their missional communities will be having dinner on the same night. But I want you guys to think of it more of a church-wide event that our missional communities will be hosting. And so what that means is, as main leaders, please consider opening your house. And also main leaders or under leaders, consider who else could open their homes. So a lot of your missional communities are full. So if you had a night and invited your missional community to it, you would already have no space to invite new people. So that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is 2 or 3 different couples out of your missional community opening their home, and then really taking on the responsibility of being inviters to people that you see in church. So, it's great to invite people that you would be in church with on your weekly rhythm. So if you normally go to the 8:30, have eyes for people in the 8:30 that you don't know. Invite them over to your home for dinner. At least this very initial one, we're going to all do it on the same night as a church. We're going to start announcing it, and we want to have invitations for you guys to even fill out and hand out. Skylar's going to create those, so that should be really amazing. All that being said, as you might be thinking now, Jenny, there is no way we can do that by the end of January, and I agree. So what we've actually decided to do is choose the date of Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, the day before Ash Wednesday, as this nice night of house parties. It already fits into our American culture that people might be more celebratory that night, might be thinking about Mardi Gras slightly. I know that probably not very many of us would necessarily be celebrating that, but it's already a night people have in their brains. And so we're going to take advantage of that. And we're going to have an invitation to our church wide, hosted by our missional communities, to come to my house, have dinner with me, get to know me. And we also want to provide you the ability to serve communion on that night with the people that come to your home. So there will be more details about that to come, and we will give you more information on how to do that in a way that is scriptural and honoring. But the following night, Ash Wednesday, we will have a night of worship at the church. So it'll be a double night where we'll have house parties and then a worship night at church. And I think the intensity of it will really get some people hooked in, really make some people feel like, okay, I understand now. This is family and this is church community. So, of course, now I've lost what date that actually was, but it's the day before Ash Wednesday, and I will include it in the email that I write along with this. So, all that being said, okay, sorry, here it is. March 5th. March 5th will be our house parties night. So let me know if you have any thoughts about that. I'm really hoping it's something that we can all get excited about and dream about together. And please do pray and consider who you could invite to open their homes. I would love to have each missional community provide 2 or 3 homes for our house parties on March 5th. So I hope that clears that up a little bit. Let me know if it doesn't. That's the idea for that. And so, of course, we'll have more details and we'll get those invitations to you guys, and then we'll start announcing it to the church probably in February, definitely in February. So the last thing I really wanted to talk to you guys about was teaching material for the spring. Many of you know, I think maybe all of you know, that we have been heavily considering going through as missional communities the roadmap to reconciliation. And Ty and Nikki, who we love and respect and honor and are so thankful for them, really feel like in order to lead that well, our missional community leaders would need some training to do that. So we are not going to dive into Roadmap to Reconciliation at the beginning of this year. And Pastor Phil and I are still praying about if the spring is the right time to do it or potentially not. So it's something that's really important to me. It's very close to my heart, but I also don't want to rush it. And I also don't want to rob it from anyone who might be interested in the conversation who's not in a missional community at this time. So just know that we are prayerfully considering when to bring that in, and when we do it, you guys will be equipped properly. So Pastor Phil is starting a new series called This Must Be Stronger Than That, and I believe that it will be a really great thing for us to go through with our missional communities, because I don't remember the exact terminology, but for example, John Tyson did a sermon on rest must be stronger than, I don't remember, something, success or whatever. And that was what really made me feel challenged about Sabbath and actually getting it done. So it's the kind of thing, it's the kind of series where there will be real life implications. How do we actually do this as a people of Jesus? How do we actually make this happen in our daily lives? So I would love for us to go through that at this time, and even encourage you guys, because it'll start before we relaunch, to send out questions to your group. Like, hey, we're not meeting, but what did you guys think about the sermon this Sunday? Or, if you have any questions, you can send out little questions to update people with. And so that's where we're starting for the spring. Sorry, I don't have more information about Roadmap to Reconciliation at this time. I just don't want to give you wrong information. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always send me a text is the best way to get in touch with me. Emails if it's a little bit longer. But just know it might take me a couple of days to respond. So just so you guys know, expectations for me, I am at the Square office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't always check my Square email on the off days. So if you send me an email that you need me to look at, please send me a text letting me know that you've also sent it. I am still working another part-time job that is, paid. So just want you guys to have accurate expectations on that. But I will respond to texts anytime. And the last, back to the house parties, I just wanted to add, on that week, we won't expect anyone to have also missional communities. So we'll do the house parties and the Ash Wednesday service, and that will be what you're responsible for that week. And we will also provide funds if you need it for the food, but we can also do, you can invite people to bring potluck kind of style. So anyway, more of that to come. You guys are more than welcome to weigh in on it. You're more than welcome to weigh in on anything I've said. I invite you to do so. And I am excited to see you guys tomorrow. I just wanted to close out with this passage from 1 Peter. It's chapter 2. I was just reading through it this morning, and I just thought you guys are, not only is this true of you, but it's true of what you're building with your missional communities as well. So starting in verse 4, as you come to him, the living stone, rejected by humans, but chosen by God and precious to him, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a royal priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. For in Scripture it says, "See, I lay a stone in Zion, a chosen and precious cornerstone, and the one who trusts in him will never be put to shame. Now to you who believe, this stone is precious. But to those who do not believe, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, and a stone that causes people to stumble, and a rock that makes them fall. They stumble because they disobey the message, which is also what they were destined for. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy." So Jesus, I just thank you for my missional community leaders, Lord, and I ask that you would show them how they are your people, but also give them your heart for the people that you've given them. So God, that we are your people, and the people that you give us become our people, and in turn your people. I thank you for that responsibility, Lord, and that honor and that trust that you've given us. And I ask that you would help us steward it well, and that you would teach us how to be what you've called us to be, Lord. You're a royal priesthood. We love you, Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen. Guys, let me know if you have any questions. I love you. I'm thankful for you, and I'll see you tomorrow.